Hello and welcome. I'm Luna,
I'm Nick.
and we are the Nomad Citello. And every month we bring you the latest news from Venice, Italy, to help you plan your trip there. And this month we're talking about February, which is a very busy month. We will see all the events happening in and around Venice. And feel free to leave your questions in the chat, even in the comments if you're watching this later, and we will answer all of your questions as best as we can. So let's have a look on what's on the menu today. So we are obviously going to talk about Carnival and the Winter Olympics that are happening near Venice, more or less. And then we will look at how to understand the water bus direction, because it's a tricky question that we received on our videos. And then there will be time for your questions. So again, feel free to drop them in the chat anytime. So let's start to talk about Carnival. Carnival 2026, the theme is Olympus, the origins of the game, and it will be held in Venice from January 31st to February the 17th. The main events I can show you also on their website. There are the Arsenale Water Show, which is a beautiful event on the water with performances and light show and water show and fireworks. So it's very, very entertaining. And this has already tickets on sale on the website starting around 40 euros. Then there is the official dinner show, which is a very formal event, which is at the casino in Venice. It's as the name says, it's a dinner show, so you are required to wear a carnival costume, an official carnival costume with a mask. The tickets are around 800 euros, so you see it's a very special event. And there will be performances all throughout the night, and you will have access also to the casino. So it's a very formal kind of dinner. Then there will be a water parade on February 1st, which is free to watch, and you can find the route on the official website. The link is in the description of this video. And it's a very nice event to watch from the bridges, from the side of the canals, to see all these boats come and go around Venice. There will be allegorical floats parades outside of historical Venice, so in Lido, in Mestre, and around the mainland around Venice, with different dates depending on the location. Of course, it's free to attend and watch these parades as well. And then there will be the Maria pageant contest, which is also free to watch. There will be the official Maria selected from a pool of 12 contestants, if I remember correctly. And so there will be several events connected to the Maria pageant as well. And there will be shows in St. Mark's Square, in Mestre, in the main square. So everywhere around the city, you will see shows and events connected to the carnival.
And I want to talk a little bit about that because you specifically called out the official dinner show.
Mhm.
But there will be other parties, other
Yeah,
ticketed events. If you want to have the experience of having the carnival costume and going to a carnival party, there are
yeah,
multiples there
yeah,
that you can do.
absolutely. We went to a costume party on a boat. So you can find several events around Venice, ticketed and free. to attend.
At different price points.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can rent costumes in Venice at different atelier around the city. That also can be kind of pricey because, of course, you're renting an official costume for a whole day or multiple days, so the price can go up very quickly.
But that is the experience not for everybody, but for people who want to go to these events.
Yeah,
Generally, some people will make or own their own costumes, but the majority of people, if you go to an event where it is required to be in carnival costume, you're going to one of the local shops and renting a
yeah,
costume there.
exactly.
So you should have plenty of time, days before,
Yeah.
where you can go to the shops and make sure you get that, sized and chosen and reserved.
Exactly. And if not, you can just decide to buy mask to wear, maybe choose a local shop rather than one of the many souvenir stands around the city. Try to support the local artisans with that. There are also local mask shops that will have classes on how to decorate your own mask, which is a fun activity also for children. So there are plenty of opportunities for everybody to enjoy at different price points this incredible event.
Yeah, if you're just enjoying the city and you want to have a mask, like Luna says, you can get that at lots of shops. If you want to just buy a cape and a mask and go to one of these ticketed events, many of them that will not be acceptable. Some of them that would be just fine. A nice suit and then a cape and a mask would be just fine. But a lot of those ticketed events do require a full costume.
Exactly. And since you're in the city, try the traditional carnival treats, frittelle and galani, which are fritters, we can say, for frittelle with different fillings.
But this is a sweet thing.
Sweet, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And similar maybe to the beignet in New Orleans, kind of. And then the galani are fried dough that is like a sweet cracker sort of thing. So you will see them everywhere around town, and I highly recommend you give it a try. Okay, let us know, of course, if you have any questions about Carnival in the chat, and we will be more than happy to give you directions about that. Now, speaking of the Winter Olympics, which of course inspired the theme of the carnival as well, they will be held from February 6th to February 22nd. The opening ceremony will be at the San Siro Stadium in Milan, which is a historical football stadium. The closing ceremony will be at the Arena di Verona, which is a historical amphitheater in Verona. Verona is about an hour from Venice by train. So if you want to check out the tickets for the closing ceremony, that's very easy to reach. The tickets are still available for all the sports events with information on how to get to the specific venues for each kind of event. If you plan on going to the Cortina events, which are the nearest events to Venice, specifically for curling and bobsleigh events, you can buy a combined train and shuttle ticket on the Trenitalia website, so on the official train website, when you put the destination Cortina 2026. So you will see the different options. There's, I think, one connection and every hour because cars are forbidden to enter Cortina during the Winter Olympics. So yeah, this could be a beautiful chance to see a world event and enjoy a different part of Veneto, which is very renowned for the snow resorts, the mountain resorts, and ski slopes, and all the fancy ski retreats in Cortina. Okay, So, speaking of water bus direction, why are we talking about this? Well, we got a comment on one of our videos asking when I'm at the water bus stop, how do I understand if the boat coming in is going in the direction I want or in the opposite direction? Now, what would you say?
You're looking for me to answer.
Yes.
There's a combination of things, and I think the pictures you have on screen help. If you look at the image on the top, on the far right, there is a tiny little arrow pointing in the direction of where the boat you want will be going.
Yeah.
But then as the boat approaches, you're quizzing me now. As the boat approaches, you need to look for a sign on the boat and try to match what is there on the boat with what's on the sign. Another way to answer this is probably not so great for people who are first-time visitors, but if you look at the map and you have a general idea of where your destinations are, the direction that the boat is approaching from tells you which
Exactly.
direction they're going to. But that's a trite answer because it's not, people don't always know the direction
Right.
of where they want to go.
I have to say, like, if you look at the first picture here, so we are at Rialto, and you see there's an arrow to the left. The boat will come from the right going towards the left. That's always the case. So if you are on a stop like in the second picture, where we are at the Salute stop, where boats go in either direction, now that's tricky, of course. You have to know which direction you're going. Uh, Another way of making sure, because maybe the stop is very busy, very crowded, you can't really see the sign on the boat. Sometimes the boats don't have updated signs
Mm.
or have the whole route, just not any particular direction. So one way is to know the main stops in your direction. So if, for example, again, we are at Salute in the second picture, and we're going towards San Marco, let's say, uh, you will listen for the sailor yelling the next stops and saying San Marco, Lido, etc. So you know that's your direction. If they say Rialto, Ferrovia, you know they're going in the opposite direction. So that's another way of making sure. And then you can always ask the sailor, pretty much. So if you're going to a
Yeah.
specific stop, you can look at the sailor and say Giglio, Accademia, or San Marco, and they will tell you yes or no. So
Also, let's look at the second picture again. Looking at the directions, let's say you wanted to go to San Elena on the far right side. If you want to go to San Elena and you're standing at Salute, the boat will approach and they will not say San Elena because it's a smaller stop.
yeah,
It's a less popular stop, but they will say Lido. They will say Lido. They'll probably say San Marco. They'll say the major stops. So if you can identify the end of the line in the direction you're going, then listen for that.
yeah, absolutely.
The other thing, and I hope I'm not stepping on you here, the place where you get on the water bus, on the Vaporetto, is a floating platform. It's a small dock. The
Mhm.
boat comes up, ties to it, and you step on. In the smaller stops, there is one floating platform. But on larger stops, like Rialto, like San Marco, like Piazzale Roma, there are multiple floating platforms. So when you look at the sign before walking on the platform, in those larger areas, one platform will be for one direction, another platform will be for the other direction. So you can identify that before you go onto the stop. And then it will have a sign like what we see in
In
the
the first
top
picture.
picture.
Yeah,
We know that this platform, if we're at Rialto and we step onto a platform that is pointing in the direction of Lido, we know which direction that boat's going to go because there will be a different platform heading in the other direction.
exactly. Yeah. So have a look at the signs before stepping in. Have a look at the screens. Very often there are
Yeah,
screens,
on the really big stops.
yeah, indicating the next boats coming into the stop, and they will have the destination and the major stops. So again, try to get to know what the major stops and the destination are for your boat.
But smaller stops, and I want to say probably something like San Marcola,
Hmm.
there's just one platform,
Yeah.
and you do have to look closer at the sign, at the boat, listen to the person on the boat as they yell
Hmm.
destinations.
And I mean, worst case scenario, just remember the first stop that you're supposed to stop at. And if it doesn't correspond to the first stop, get off and get on on the boat in the opposite direction. So let's say again, you have to go to Sant'Elena and you are at Salute, you know that the next stop needs to be San Marco. If you stop at Giglio, get off at Giglio and wait for the boat in the opposite direction out
I
of.
want to question what you're saying because there are some routes that don't stop at every stop. So if you're looking for a specific stop, they might have skipped it rather than going in the opposite direction.
Yes and no. I mean, if we're talking about route number one, for example, that's not the case because they always stop at every stop. Ooh, it's a little tricky with other routes because maybe they have like Sunday timetables and routes that are different from the other days. So yeah, maybe yeah, be careful with that trick, let's say. Okay. So if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments or in the chat. We got a question under one of our videos asking, do churches have public restrooms in Venice? We have a video about public restrooms around Venice, which you have to pay for, €1.50 generally. But is going to a church an option for public restrooms? What would you say?
You're quizzing me again. I'm quite confident that that's not an option,
Yeah,
but I have not checked.
yes, I have checked, and that's not an option. Churches normally don't have public restrooms or areas aside from visiting the church itself, because restrooms would be in the private areas where the priest lives, and so it's part of the parish, not the public church. So no, that's not an option. There's always the option to stop at a fast food restaurant or a bar and drink a coffee and use the restroom, but the churches are not an option in this case. But do check out our video on public restrooms because they are all around Venice. Okay, do we have any other
I don't
questions?
see any questions on the live chat. Remember, if you're watching this later, if you're watching it and it's not live, you can still post questions. We'll respond in the comments or we'll save your question for next month's live.
Absolutely. So enjoy the Carnival and the Winter Olympics in Venice. Expect large crowds in February because it's a very busy month. And we will see you next month with another live of Nomad Citello. Buon viaggio!